my friends, Misty here. I'm actually sitting outside. Now, when we go to our drawing board, I'll go inside the house because I don't want the paper blowing around, but I thought it'd be fun to have our introduction here outside. And I'm out here in my yard, so you can see a little bit of my plants over there, still here. And some of my plants over there. So yeah, anyway, so I hope you're having a really good summer so far. It's not too hot, but it's getting there. So, because it's getting warmer and sunnier, I thought we'd do one of our favorites, which is watercolors. And just when we say the word watercolors, it makes us feel cooler, doesn't it? Because we're using water. So we're gonna have a lot of fun doing watercolors. I thought we could do one of our favorite techniques, which is called spatter painting. And that's when we take our brush and we kind of shake the brush off and we can make different effects that way. We're gonna do a wet on wet, which is more of a wet kind of watercolor. We use more of a, we saturate our brush, which means it is wetter than normal. And it makes it a little bit messier, but that's okay. It's all water. And then we're going to do a dry brush, which is where we don't use as much water. So rather than the colors being saturated, it's more vibrant or vivid. So without further ado, let's head on over to the watercolor drawing board and we're going to have some watercolor fun. Okay, here we are. Actually, I'm looking outside as I paint. So rather than sitting outside, because I do worry about the paper blowing away and all that, I thought it'd be just kind of fun to sit right on the inside of looking out. That makes sense. So I can see my yard, and it's kind of cool because when we do something like this, we can look outside and we can get inspired. So got my regular just white watercolor paper. You guys probably have some really cool watercolor paper. And I've got our paints. I remember these are the palettes. And then I've got bunches of brushes here, and I've got some of these brushes, and I've got my trusty spray bottle, and then I also have a cup of water, and I have a plain old towel. And you can see this towel's been really used. I've got lots of paint on it. So what we're gonna do is just grab one of our brushes and just start painting away. So this is just one that I got like at the Dollar Tree. And you guys have a paintbrush that goes with it. So it really doesn't matter what kind of paintbrush we use, because the beauty of this, now I'm just using my squirt bottle. And we did the same thing, remember when we did the fingerprint and the thumbprint ones, only this time we're gonna actually use a brush. So this would be considered more of a dry brush, because you can see it's not really dripping water. And so when I put my color down, and if I wanted just to kind of looks like hills, doesn't it? So that would be more of a dry brush. But if I wanted to really, really make it soaking wet, I just keep adding lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of water. And then I take my same brush, I kind of dry it off a little bit, but then I just pick up and I saturate. I get a lot of paint onto that brush, and see how wet it is? But I'm still not getting, well, yeah, I'm getting a little bit of a mess here, just a little bit. So now guess what I'm gonna do with this? Can you guess? It's gonna be spatter paint, yeah. So watch this. So then we take our brush and we can shake it like this. And the more we shake, the more colors we get. And then if we add another color and just make it super, super wet, which is saturated, and come back over here and we do more spatter paint. And if you throw it like that, kind of like when you take your brush and you throw it, kind of do it in slow motion, we throw it, or you can take your finger and just tap it. And then again, we come over here, and then if we get close to it, see, I needed more water in there. So what did I need it? It needs to be more saturated, right? That's exactly it. So I'm gonna just saturate those brushes, and yes, I'm mixing colors because that's okay. And it's still not quite enough, is it? So I'm gonna keep on doing that. And then what I'm gonna do now is, since that's not working for the spatter, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my spray bottle and I'm actually gonna spray my paper. Now watch what happens when I spray the paint. See how it moves it? Because it's water soluble. That means it moves with water. So back over here, I'm gonna pick up a real saturated color, lots of water and color. I'm just gonna drop it here. And this, when we do this, that is called wet brush. I really like that. That is like super, super cool. So you can't really do it when it's dry. See how I do it when it's dry? The dry brush doesn't move the paint like it does when it's wet. So again, if you just water down, spray it with water, spray the water on your paper, come back over here and we'll pick up another color, mix two colors, and then come back over here and we just drop it. We drop the color onto the water. You see how it moves it? It's still moving it. I just think that is really cool. So these are different kinds of techniques that we can do when we watercolor. So you can brush it like normally, you know, that's what a lot of people just think, oh, we just use our brush this way. And that's true that you can, but you can also do the wet on wet. And that's like my second favorite aside from doing this, the spatter paint. Now also, if I move everything off of here, I'm gonna move this all away. And then if I wanted to tip it, it's going to run. And you make sure if you do that, that you have a good safe place to put it so it doesn't go on your carpet or somewhere else. So you can actually just tip the colors, tip the paper, and it kind of does tip the colors. Now some of them may not run as much, so you can blow on it. See if that works. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. The reason why it's not working here is because it's more dry. This is their drier area, this is the wetter area. So we've got our saturated, which means very wet area, wet on wet. We have our dry, this I'm not gonna, it's not gonna move as much. And then of course we have our spatter paint. So those are three different kinds of really cool watercolor painting. And you just need one brush. This is just an ordinary brush, it's nothing special. The beauty of art is that we don't need to buy expensive things. We just go to the, you know, get the good stuff is whatever you can find is what I call the good stuff, if that makes sense. So I've got more here. I just put a little bit of color there, brown and green. Now I'm gonna do is I'm gonna spray it. Now watch what happens. It moves. Super, super cool. All right, so there you have it. We've got our wet on wet, which is super wet paper, and then we put the watercolor that's wet on top of that. We have our dry, which is more of a dry brush. It just kind of goes like that, and it actually is a little bit more vibrant color. See the difference? And then we have, of course, like I said, our spatter paint. And when you do your spatter paint, it's gonna have to be super, super wet. So I'm gonna try to do this again. A little spatter, and there we go. So there you go, all different kinds of watercolor, and fun with watercolor, and it's fun to do especially when it's really warm. You can do it outside as long as your paper doesn't blow away. But this is one of my favorites. I know it's one of yours too. So I'm just showing you all my palettes. And yep, sometimes I do mix the colors together, that's okay. And then I have my spray bottle with water. I have my cup with water over here. There we go. And then my towel that's been used a lot. And then my paintbrushes. All right, hope you enjoyed that. I know I did. I love watercolors. All right, we'll see you over here at the reflection area. Hi everybody, Misty back here again. I wanted to show you over my, my left shoulder, that I have these beautiful purple flowers. They're called petunias, and they're just so, so pretty. Just wanted to show you those. And yes, I grew those from they were like in a little cup, almost like that. And all of those have bloomed like in the last week or so. So I wanted to share that with you. Also, I've got some more purple there. I love purple. So I hope you had a lot of fun with the watercolor painting. I don't know what your favorite technique is, but mine is the spatter painting, because it's just so much fun to do, because you just take that brush and you get it pretty wet and you can just spatter the colors all over the place, and then you know, just have fun doing that. And yeah, it can get messy, but again, it's water, so all you need is some paper towels or an old towel that you don't really need to use much for anything special, and you can just wipe it away. So I hope you had as much fun as I did. I always have fun drawing, painting, creating with you. You guys are amazing masterpiece artists, and I will look forward to seeing you next time. So remember, always think outside the box. And remember, you can change the world with art. You can. All right, we'll see you next time.